Welcome. Thank you for joining me on another episode of FYI, I am damaged. I'm touching on a perspective episode, and the topic is going to be on motivation. It's been pretty dicey for me for the past couple of months. If you're listening to this, whether I know you or I don't, and hopefully I don't, because I want to know new people listening to this. It's very hard to understand your own motivations, especially when they're positive. I have a positive motivation to do something for many people who I don't know, which helps me motivate to do better for myself. But then I have these blocks, barriers, personal triggers. I had a lot of personal issues going into the second season. From the first was amazing. I want to thank everyone who assisted me with it, who were my guests. And it's true what they say when you're starting out something, whether it's something of passion, of business, of anything, you go to those close to you. And 99% of those people are close to me. They really came through. They really understood what I was trying to do, and they donated their time. They donated their stories to help bring something about that is a passion of mine, and I can really say that. And you would think that something like that would drag you through the bad times. But when you have issues going on in your life, you have issues with your significant others, your family, your even your children, and I was going through it all. It just took the wind out of my sails to do anything else. It's true, seeking mental therapy is it's vital for those that don't know what to do in their lives, jumping from one foot to the other, getting triggered by what someone does, what someone says, and you might be dealing with someone who is not dealing with their own traumas, their own inadequacies or whatever. I'm not want to say anything incorrectly, but if they're not dealing with their issues and then they're defaulting to something that is not healthy for themselves and for those around them, then if they're lucky enough to know what their passions are in life, whether it's personal or business, then that can be affected. From my standpoint, the personal issues I was going through, the decisions I was making that was affecting my relationship with my family, with my wife, with my kids, with myself, all the stuff that I was doing with my health, my mental, physical, everything across the board. I wasn't giving the respect to the passion that was given to me in the form of this podcast. And the motivation was out the window. When it came time, my start time, I feel, is in March. That's when it happened the first season. And man, I was running. Coming up with ideas, who to interview, how to pull the mental strength lessons, that the saying that I use, and mental strength tactics or whatever. Anybody that goes through, you learn something and you share it with the world. Give it to somebody else. Help them. And hearing my past guests say, oh, somebody heard me on your show and they shared something with me, and it made them a little bit braver. It made them a little bit stronger. It made them stand up a little bit straighter. It made them speak up a little bit more. I was on fire for season 2, getting it ready to go. But life didn't see it that way. I only did 2 episodes. Jerry and Mairena, they really blessed me with a beautiful episode. So did Maria of Yo Diga No Mas. And that was it. And then I look back and I'm like, what the hell happened? I had a list of prospective guests, some that I've confirmed with, and I've been talking with them back and forth, and then I feel it was a letdown. And it drove me to a place where I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be there. There's just nothing but, darkness there. There's just nothing but disappointment. And it went against what I had planned. And then it just drags you down and makes you more depressed. And then if you're a person who does not have the right tools, it's not even, if you don't have the right mechanisms to help pull you out of it, whether it's from therapy, whether it's from self taught methods of things you learn, or just that I'm sick of this. I have to do something and I have to get this to somewhere. And you light your own fire rather than somebody lighting it for you. And I didn't have it at that point. I have it now. Oh, yeah, I have it now. I had one thing that was crushing me that I don't mind speaking on it now is I had a shitty IT service desk manager job at Hostos Community College, and that was the day that I got let go was the day I released the intro for this third season. And then on top of dealing with other personal issues, which I don't want to get into right now, that's what's eaten from March until now to release this episode. And then having all the other individuals lined up, only one confirmed, one is ready. And it just feels kind of shameful to go back to the other individuals that said yes, they'll be on there. And then I just kind of pulled back, only making a post here and there saying, I'm going through some stuff and hit you on the other end, hit you for the next season. Acknowledging my feelings of just, it felt like failure. It felt like tend to my house before I built sort of any extension to it. And that's what I've been doing with help of my wife and just everybody else who I have come across. And it's given me a new perspective. And it's also with what I mentioned with, I went on a retreat from Forgive to Live. It's a community where you go and you basically work your shit out. Anything that's blocking you, anything that's throwing you into darkness, anything that is stopping you from seeing your light, anything that's stopping you from tearing your own self down and making yourself inadequate, making yourself not being to the best of your potential and getting to the heart of it. And for me, some of that was, the first part of it was going through my trauma of my sexual abuse. And then I got past that for the most part. Then you realize other things come up. I have issues here, have issues there. That's bringing up issues with my motivation, my ability to just get up with life, get up with excitement. Because okay, I'm putting behind my crap that I put myself through, with how I felt, with how I went through my trauma, then I should be okay, right? But I wasn't. I wasn't, because everything else was still suffering around me. So I'm like, why? Like, I was really, really down on myself. It also didn't help that, having relationship issues. That is also, it pulls, and I'll use the saying again, it for me, it takes the wind out of my sails. Butting heads with somebody that you love and having the same issues that everybody has, money issues, performance issues, any type of thing, that you're doing something, they're doing something. The fighting doesn't help. It doesn't. And that also kills a person's motivation. And it was killing mine. It was killing mine. And fighting with someone that I insanely love so much, then one of the big things is I would hurt myself with food. I was still doing that. I've been pretty good for the past couple of days, and I was doing it worse to kind of recall back to the job that I had, that I currently lost. It was insane there. And I mean, it's not to harp on them, but the expectations of what is expected of someone when you don't have the resources and the facilities to give them so they can produce what's being asked of them, then you're basically telling them to MacGyver the whole situation every day that they're there. And that's all that they were. That's all that everybody was there. Just acting day in and day out like freaking MacGyver with glue, paperclip, and some rubber bands, and make it work. Make it work. And it was ridiculous. So it was a blessing in disguise that I got let go. I'm just moving on to more or less stressful things. So that brought me to losing my motivation and how it was hurting myself. So what am I doing to get better? Well, I'm doing a bunch of things. One is minimizing the distractions. Definitely doing that. Phone, anything that's not conducive to me bringing forth the better part of myself. I'm identifying all of those things, and if it does not serve me, then I do not serve it. And I'm still dealing with the personal triggers that I have with individuals, with situations, and anything else that might make me feel like it can just make me throw my hands up and say, fuck it, throw myself into apathy. Which is one of the things I learned with Forgive to Live. It's you have to learn how to maneuver through these things. You have to learn, and on the women's side, with Maria, my wife RG, helping them out, and she was asked to help them because she's such a shining person that to help somebody, it's like they understood the value of that. And on the men's side, with Franco, Ben, and Ben, who showed me, you know what? Figure the fuck out what you have locked up in your internal dungeon. Your body's your castle. That's your kingdom. What do you have locked up in the basement that doesn't serve you? But you keep serving it. And it's holding you back. And that's where I released that one thing. And it was, forgiving myself and also forgiving my abuser. But not forgiving him in real life. I'm not going to seek him out. Forgiving what I held on to of him in my dungeon. To not be weighed down by it. And everybody through their transformative experience gives themselves a kind of name. I was part of 3 people. There was myself, William Alba, Kevin Nunez. I believe Kevin went by Warrior Sparrow. And Will, through his revelations, came up, with big love. And for me, it was free. My astrological sign is Virgo, which is an earth sign. So for me, I was free earth. I was free. They looked at me like nothing looks bothering you. Say, yeah, I feel free. And they're like, free. Mr. Free. Yeah, free earth. Everybody needs to feel like that. Everybody needs to put that negative emotion on a log, understand what it's doing to them, and chuck that shit into the fire. Because that's what we did. And that helped me be free. And that was the tricky part. You're in a controlled environment. You're in an environment where there's nothing affecting you other than what you're being put through. And it's a great motivator. It is. But then you have to see how you take what you can and continue it when you have to go back into your regular life. And that's what I had to deal with. That's what I had to deal with. And that's what I'm dealing with now. And I think I'm doing okay with the individuals that I had to speak to, because you get a partner once a month to discuss what you're going through. And it's an amazing thing, because if you as a person don't feel like you're being seen, this is an amazing thing, because they see you. They don't pull anything back. You talk about your darkness. You shed light on each other so that you can help each other out and free yourself of what is not making you the best person that you can be. And then you can continually do that. It's not wallowing in the dirt and then just always getting up with, always had a little bit of dirt on me. Or just always 100% happy. No, but find the balance. But find the balance that pushes you to be better. Pushes you to motivate yourself. Pushes you to continue to bring about what's good for you, and then be the example for others. Because at a certain age, what I'm realizing is that we just start becoming an example to other people. And that example can either be negative, can either be a dark cloud over people, or it can be the sunshine. So you got to find out what the motivation is. Are you motivating people away from you, or are you motivating people to run with you? And right now I feel like I'm running with some spectacular people, and you know they're spectacular people because if you feel like shit for not showing up to your full potential and they say the same thing, then you know that there's a group of people out there that you should be running with at the best possible way you should as a human being. And whatever's holding you back, be motivated to speak on what those things are so that as a group you're not alone. You can just have that worked out and be a better person. Your life can't work if you don't. So, for the most part, the thing that I was blessed with understanding is recognize your triggers. And then once you work on those, look on how to try and sustain your motivation, one foot in front of the other. A journey begins with the first step. This has been my perspective on motivation. Please feel free to give me your perspective, your thoughts on what motivation means to you, and what do you do for yourself. Trust me, I feel more than blessed if even just one person lets me know how they feel and lets me know what they use in their life. Who knows on who it can help. Thank you, everybody. This is Oscar Luna, and this is FYI, I am damaged.